Hi, I'm Meredith from artsandclassy.com, and you're watching Home Talk.
Here is the part of the home office that I will be working on today after it's been stripped down a bit, and I'm excited to be working with Beyond Paint on all four of my projects I'm sharing today. So this one is a vase. I found it at a thrift store for $3.99. Want to get through cleaning it first before we get into the next step, which will be painting it all over with a white flat paint. From there, I used a painter's tape to tape it off and use my Beyond Paint in the color sand. Used a foam roller to apply it, and I did about 2 coats and let it dry. And this is the finished product. I'm very happy with how it turned out in comparison to my inspiration. For my next project inspiration, this marble art is what I'm working with. So I found another piece of art at a thrift store. I started by painting this canvas all over with my white flat paint before I actually used my Beyond Paint in the color sand. I applied this also with my foam roller, and I actually only needed to do about 1 coat to get full coverage here, so I was really pleased with the outcome. Next is getting into the faux marbling. Now I find that when I use my artist brushes and a sponge, I can kind of hold the brush at the very tippy top and kind of twist and turn it as I go across the canvas and just add more and more dimension and kind of sponge in with water and also other colors to add a little more dimension to the piece. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Here is the after of my faux graining. Next, we're going to be working on the lamp. Now this lamp inspiration was a $400 lamp. In order to achieve this look for less, I was able to get a hand-me-down lamp from my husband. After I cleaned it off, I applied my Beyond Paint sand color all over the lamp. I only needed 1 coat to cover the entire thing. As you can see, I taped off the cord. Now I've seen this really interesting marbling technique where you pour nail polish in a bowl and you can dip whatever you want coverage on into the bowl. You can kind of make an abstract design, and you just dip the item in and turn it, and the paint will just stick to the surface. So after doing that on all sides, I was able to achieve the desired look I wanted. Here is the after of my lamp after I put a new lampshade on it. So for project number 4, we're using this cube storage ottoman, and I loved the ornate detailing in the front. First, we have to clean it off because my paint's not going to stick if I don't keep it clean, and degrease it and just get all the dust and everything, which proved to be a little challenging with all the intricate details in the carving in the front. But I had painted this initially a different color, so I was excited to use this paint to kind of give it a different makeover. I felt like it was going to have a much higher end look to it, and look how quickly this paint, this light paint color, covers this darker paint color. So Beyond Paint's fantastic line of paint really just sticks, and it applies so easily, and it's very thick. So I had no problem at all covering this entire piece with about 1 coat. I may have done a couple extra coats just in some areas to touch up, but as you can see, it's pretty opaque on the first application. So if you're looking to save time, then this is a great option for you. And now for the front part where I had my carving, I just went over with a roller just to get all of the plain surface and the top and start to work my way to the inside. But then I take my smaller brush, and I even pulled out my artist brushes at some point to make sure that I'm getting some paint into the carving. It was definitely very intricate, so it took a little bit more time. But as you can see already, just from this clip, it really did pay off because I find that the carving really stands out quite a bit more. It was kind of a shame that it was so dark before. I really am happy with this being a more neutral, lighter color. Now I'm starting to work my way in with my foam roller, making sure that I'm covering all of the greater surfaces on the inside before I go into the corners with my smaller brush to really make sure that every inch of the original surface or the painted surface was covered. Now I'm taking out my rub and buff in antique gold, and I am going over the hardware of this ottoman because it does open and close, and I wanted to make sure that there was like a little pop of gold because I feel like that would complement this neutral color quite a bit. So I just took a brush and also rags, and I went over the hinges, I went over the chain, I went over all of the metal hardware on this furniture piece so that it really did add a sense of elegance, especially when I opened it. And there you have it, my finished product. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I think the delicate detailing looks amazing. Now I'm really trying to bring this space together. Since I have these really beautiful, colorful green walls, I wanted to add what I'm calling a reverse block arch wall. So instead of it being a pop of color, it's a pop of white. Now I'm using a flat white paint, but Beyond Paint carries a matte white paint in the color bright white that would work perfectly for this step. And just making sure I'm doing enough layers to make sure it isn't covered entirely. And then obviously when we're pulling the tape off, we want to make sure that the lines are nice and clean. But making sure that, I don't have to do any touch-ups. But now it's time to really put all of the furniture and everything back into place, which I'm very happy with how it all turned out. I think it looks really good, and it really can work as kind of a fake console table right when you walk in my house, in my entryway. I think all of the inspiration I gathered, I was able to kind of replicate in a look for less kind of way. So really making your home look a little more high-end on a budget does not cost a lot. And I want to thank Beyond Paint for sending me the products that they did. I really think that this added a lot of class to my space. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.